Friends and lovers, welcome to the final Jimpressions for Super Mario Odyssey. Be warned, there is some post-game content being shown here. I beat the game, beat Bowser, sent him packing. In fact, what you're looking at now is a little bit of endgame content because I'm wearing an endgame costume, which is the old Mario 64 Mario, which I thought was a very, very cute little touch. And again, one of the things that I love about this game is it's got a lot of costumes, and you just buy them with in-game money. No microtransactions, no monetization, no loot boxes, no loot spectators like Call of Duty World War II has, where you get a daily reward for watching other people open loot boxes, but that's enough of that. Let's talk about Mario Odyssey, where we are possessing a human being, an actual human-looking human next to the cartoonish Mario, which is still freakish and nightmarish. I'd already gotten that moon, as you can see, but I wanted to just show that bit. Here is the shopping system with the shopkeeper that wants to die. That's certainly what I hear when they speak. And we're just buying moons. This game is so lousy with moons, it's practically giving them away. 100 coins? That's a steal, mate. But just because they're that easy to get here doesn't mean that they're all easy to get. It's just that this game is so full of moons, so full of stuff to collect, that you can just stumble upon them, buy them, find them hidden in trash, or do, more complicated tasks and some treasure hunting to really get to the juicy ones. And of course you can get a Waluigi costume, which pretty much catapults this into near 10 out of 10 territory, if of course I was doing scored reviews, which I don't do anymore. I do think it's bloody harsh though. I think it's really harsh that when you look at the description for the Waluigi costume, it's like, well, this doesn't look like it's been used very much, which to a Waluigi fan like myself cuts deep, Nintendo. Cuts really deep. Anyway, we're in New Donk City. And I actually saved a bit of the content before I beat the game, quote-unquote beat the game, before I beat Bowser. I saved some of this just because I knew I wanted to do another video on this, and it would be odd not to do a Super Mario Odyssey video without some New Donk City, mainly because New Donk City is very funny to say. New Donk City. But that's enough donking for now, let's get into the nitty-gritty. I am now fully confident that this is the best Mario game I've played, maybe the best Mario game ever made. That is a personal opinion, of course, but I just bloody love this. There are other games that I need to be cracking on with to do some video coverage for, but I've been putting stuff off and procrastinating just to play more of this. This is an exceedingly cleverly designed game. It's some of the best map design I've experienced, and I know I'm using the word best a lot, which can often be overly hyperbolic, but I truly mean it. I'm not messing around here. The way that the stages are set out, the way that the worlds are put together, there's just everything about the maps. They subtly guide you around, encourage exploration, they hide things in incredibly smart places. There have been times when I've just shaken my head, smiled at this game and said, fuck you. And meaning it in, the most friendly of terms, in pure banter terms, because where it hid a moon was just so smart, just so sneaky, that I just had to give it the respect of a smile and an FU, which is my way of showing respect to a game, I like to think. One of the things I adore about the game is just how encouraging it is. Every time I revisit a kingdom, when I go back to a previous level, I leave with new moons. I always leave with fresh stuff. And oh yeah, I just got to point out that Pauline there says that we have to teach these minions a new donk lesson. I need that out there, that new donk lessons are a thing that can be taught. Also, I think it's really cool that Pauline is the mayor, the same Pauline from Donkey Kong, which I just thought was a very cute touch. But as I was saying, I've revisited certain kingdoms. I keep wanting to say planets as if it's Mario Galaxy, but it's all the same planet. But every time I go back to a level that I've already been in, I've never not left without new moons in my pocket. The game is just infinitely rewarding and encouraging. It wants you to explore, and there's never a place where there isn't some clever hidden thing. I've learned early on through playing it that whenever I enter, say, you know, what we could call a dungeon from one of these sort of overworlds, you go into an area where it's more of a challenge stage. There's never just one moon. There's never just one. Once I cottoned onto that, I was moving the camera all around the levels, checking hidden nooks and crannies, and every time the exploration is rewarded, and you never leave empty-handed. And it's rare and special, and it takes a heck of a lot of designing chops to be able to pull that off, to be able to pull off a game that is not only just fun to play on its own right, but is so addictive because it's rewarding without using any psychological tricks. It's just saying, hey, here is so much more game for you to play. And I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, I want more game to play. That sounds like a great effing deal, especially these days. I love these little 2D stages, the way they play around with that, like this, like doing a little bit of Sonic here. Stuff like that, just the variation in this game as well. You can get a moon just from talking to a Day of the Dead skeleton. Here we are. Free moon, just for me. And you can get it from... what else can you do? Well, we're about to move some letters in a second. And that was something that was added after I did the festival. You see these letters over here? They're going to spell out Mario. Bit of a spoiler after we jump on the hat's head anyway. My complaints about Super Mario Odyssey are basically the same complaints I had about it the last time we looked at the game. Largely the control scheme, or rather the disparate control schemes. Basically what Nintendo wants, Nintendo gets. And Nintendo wants you to play this with separated Joy-Cons in each hand. That is the optimum way to play the game. Nintendo didn't seem to really care about optimizing the other methods. It's a different feeling game when you play it with a Pro Controller or the Joy-Cons attached to their central spine, and when you play it in handheld mode. It's a different experience, and honestly, a somewhat inferior experience. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I remember saying last time we looked at this game that I was dreading playing it in handheld mode, and I'm pleased to say that the dread was largely unfounded. The game was still plenty fun, plenty playable in handheld mode. I didn't bother shaking the thing around like a baby. Well, a badly looked after baby. I'm not implying that you should shake babies. Don't shake babies. That came out wrong, don't shake babies. But anyway, the point is, I largely ignored all the waggle, but there's a little tiny bit of an aim assist with Mario throwing his cap, at least that's the sense I got, when you're playing it and pressing buttons to throw the cap rather than flicking the Joy-Con and then flicking it again to home in on stuff. I thought I'd be overly reliant on the homing that you can only really get with the waggle, but it turned out to be still quite a bit of fun on a handheld screen. Now, that said, when I'm playing to do new things, like fight bosses and go into dungeons, when I want to do like crucial stuff, I want the split Joy-Cons on the TV experience. However, if I'm going back to old kingdoms that I've already done, and I just want to casually explore for moons, that is perfect for handheld stuff. That's absolutely perfect. This kingdom is one, again, we've returned to after I've already crashed Bowser's Wedding, just getting a golden turnip. I think they're turnips, I forget the exact root vegetable, but it's a root vegetable nonetheless, and we need to get it all the way across to the simmering pot that's some ways away, and it takes a little bit of deft manoeuvring to do it, as well as use of, well, not so much a hammer bro here as a frying pan bro, which you need to get rid of the cheese to open up the steps here, and then you go back and get the turnip. Like I said, just really clever, off the wall, just crazy enough to work puzzles, and every kingdom has its own unique take on how to use the hat, on how to solve puzzles. There's some repeated stuff. Every kingdom's gonna have Captain Toad hiding in it. You'll regularly see a little pink Goomba in a flowery hat that's high up somewhere, so you'll need to possess a Goomba and then jump on other Goombas to make a big Goomba stack so that you can reach the pink Goomba, so the pink Goomba falls in love and gives you a moon. Still a better love story than Twilight. Haha, memes. Do you get that, memes? Haha, I love memes. So there is some repeated stuff, but it's not like recycled busy work that you see in a lot of these open world games these days. And it pales in comparison to all of the new, unique, interesting, always consistently, constantly surprising stuff that you find in Super Mario Odyssey. I mean, here we are in the Mushroom Kingdom. You don't get much better than that. I mean, well, my one complaint is that there's no real music for the Mushroom Kingdom. In fact, that's another complaint that I think I'd have for this game, is that the music sometimes is fantastic. You get some brilliant catchy tunes, but some stages, some of the kingdoms, don't really have even memorable or even noticeable music sometimes. Sometimes it's just atmospheric sound and it just doesn't feel right. There should always be some fun, peppy music in a Mario game, or some sinister stuff if you're in a darker area. But anyway, we're going to fight a boss. Once you clear the game, you can go into portraits, very much like Mario 64, go into portraits in the Mushroom Kingdom, and refight some of the bosses that have a few little extra tricks up their sleeve. And replaying them can get you some more moons, because of course the game is constantly rewarding, which is excellent. Thumbs up, thanks very much. And for all my complaints about the control schemes, I will say this much. Unlike Microsoft, Nintendo is very good at just forcing a thing to be a thing, just making you like it, whether you intended to like it or not. The idea of the split Joy-Cons felt uncomfortable and weird to me, and I didn't want to do it. But this game so wholeheartedly recommends it, to the point where you really feel like you're almost missing something out if you don't use it. It made me appreciate having a Joy-Con in each hand. It didn't make me appreciate the name, but it did make me appreciate that style of control, and now I really like it. And that just, I think, is a testament to what Nintendo's really good at, is it really does know how to use control schemes and use complementary mechanics to make you enjoy something you thought you might not enjoy. And Super Mario Odyssey is just a constant, unending delight. Even when I'm really frustrated with it, because the game, while being relatively laid back and not certainly far from the most difficult Mario game out there, it's got its little moments that can be frustrating, and there have been some times where I wanted to throw my controller, but never once have I wanted to just quit and not play it. I've always wanted to just keep going, because anytime the game might have irritated me, it quickly finds a way to just put a giant grin on my face. And that can be when there's just some really clever map design that blows me away with its ingenuity, or genuine comedy scenes that actually make me laugh. The final sequence with Bowser and Mario trying to win Peach over, it had me laughing. It was Mario and Bowser's parts, just as Mario commiserates with Bowser, that made me just giggle. And that Super Mario Odyssey, honestly, I mean, spoiler warning, it's a Game of the Year candidate already. It's gonna get one from me, a Game of the Year nod. It's brilliant. I don't do reviews.